Hi, we're going to explain to you the 4 file types that Inventor runs on. If you were to click on the New button, okay, or underneath the Program menu, click on New, you'll notice that Inventor has 4 file types. There are part files, assembly files, drawing files, and presentation files. And we want you to understand what each of these file types does. First, the part file is where you create individual pieces or parts or building blocks to your product. I've created a couple part files here. Just for reference, we have a U-shaped block and a T-shaped block. Okay. One of the next file types is an assembly file. This is where we can assemble separate parts. Here's an assembly file. Both parts that were created in part files are then brought into a new file type called an assembly, in which case we can try to assemble these pieces together exactly how we want them to fit. The relationships that we use to get these blocks to fit together are called constraints. Here's a completed one. If I try to click and drag on the green block, it doesn't separate from the blue one. It has been constrained into position, and so this is an assembly file. An assembly file creates relationships to constrain the parts together the way they should fit together in the end. The next file type I'm going to cover is presentation. In a presentation file, you can create an exploded view of the assembled. I know I have a very simple product, but here you can see that there's a trail showing how the T block fits into view block, and you can even animate it. So we can play a video showing how that block fits together, or we can play it in reverse. So in a presentation file, we show how the pieces physically move in and out to come together. And we can create views that will have these trails showing to show where they fit in. We can animate, which also makes it easier for people to understand how to get these blocks to come together or come apart. The last file type is the drawing. And in our class, we've created a customized drawing sheet so that we don't have to change settings every time. It'll print on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it's got our school logo, and so we've got a customized title block. And so we will use the Edgewood Drawing title block for our class. A drawing sheet can be used to put a multi-view drawing of one part. A multi-view drawing is where we show the orthographic projections. For example, the most common is a front view, a top view, and a right view of a product, as well as an isometric. This gives us more visual understanding. It is on these orthographic projections that we provide dimensions, and this is a drawing that would be used normally to produce or inspect the part. So that's one type of material that would go onto a drawing sheet, and we could do that for each part. Other things that can go on drawing sheets, we can document the assembled product. So while we create an assembly file and we have an assembled view, we can document that here. And that is a way to give a rendering or a visualization of the final assembled product. We can also take the presentation file where we exploded our product and separated all the parts out to show how they come together. We can put the exploded view onto a drawing and print that. And that's used as a visual assembly, a set of visual assembly instructions. So, for example, think about Lego creating a new set. They may have to go through and create their blocks, all different types of blocks. They will have to use those blocks to show how they're going to fit together, okay, and create their final product. In the end, they may want to have multi-view drawings that show how to produce the part exactly the size in the block so that a factory can produce all the Legos. And lastly, for the person that buys the Lego set, they probably want a picture to show how do those Legos fit together, what does it look like when it's done, and some exploded views, maybe not of the entire product, but they might do step by step, and show actually how pieces fit together. And so there's an example of the file types that Inventor has.